Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Lori Oldham, and I'm working in the Office of Student Affairs. I'm the Student Affairs coordinator here, and I wanted to welcome you to a very special collaboration between the Office of Student Affairs at City and with our community partner, Cal Coast Credit Union. Now, I don't know if you know, but did you know that April is Financial Literacy Month? Well, it is, and in honor and spirit of that, we have partnered with CalCoast to bring to you a four-part series about financial fitness. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to my partner and friend, Josh Antis. He is the Financial Education and Community Partnerships Manager over there at CalCoast. So without further ado, Josh, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Lori, and thank you everyone for joining us today. We're absolutely excited to be here. My name, of course, like Lori said, is Josh Antis. I work in the Community Relations Department at Cal Coast, and just wanted to say hello and go through some quick things before talking to Terlin, who's going to be our main presenter today. So a little bit about Cal Coast. We are not-for-profit, and we focus very much on financial wellness, and part of that is doing financial education. So Financial Literacy Month is, of course, very near and dear to our hearts. So if you ever have any questions at all, you can contact us at a branch, by phone, by email, by website, social media, any way that you like, and we can help you out. It's free of charge. Just don't be afraid to ask anytime. So with that, I want to go ahead and do another introduction. I'll go ahead and introduce Terlin Rose. She is the manager of our financial fitness coaching department. I almost said wellness. You can say it however you want. And Terlin's been, with the credit union a long time, and it's just an absolute wealth of knowledge. And I'll put the pressure on her. She's a great presenter as well. So with that, I'll turn it over to Terlin. Go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much, you guys. Yeah, very excited about sharing some wonderful tips and tools with you guys about financial fitness. Little background on me, I have been doing this service now for 14 years. And when I first started, I was a mess. I had about $46,000 in credit card debt, was paying not sufficient fund fees, had a really low credit score. All the tools that we learn in financial fitness really helped me turn that around. So I'm really excited that I get to share this with you guys today and give you some helpful hints and tools to help you start off. So I'm going to go ahead and start my screen. And what we're talking about today is financial fitness. And one of the things we're going to be looking at, let's go to the next slide here, if I can get it to advance. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There we go. Learn essentials to money management and how to succeed financially. So we're going to go over step by step some things that I have found to be very helpful when I'm setting up my financially fit goals in the future. And we're looking at this steps to creating this plan for you to get to where you want to be. Reviewing assets, reviewing expenses, reviewing your debts, setting up your plan, and then setting up accounts that can help you achieve that a little more quickly, a little easily, automating some things to make it a little more easy. So you're going to notice here that I have that word budget crossed off. You hear people all the time, you got to have a budget. You need a budget. There's a lot of things out there. I actually don't like that word. When I hear the word budget, I hear all the things I can't do. I can't go on vacation. I can't go out to dinner with my friends. Can't get those cute black leather jacket that I had my eyes on. It's all the things I can't do. And that's a really restrictive way to live my life. I work really hard and I want to be able to enjoy my life a little bit. So I like using this word plan because a plan is you telling your money what to do. You are in control and making your money go where you want. That's really powerful. So I like using that word plan. So we're going to go over the steps to create a plan that helps you be financially fit. So we're going to go over these steps: reviewing assets, expenses, debts, plan, and account. So we're going to go over the very first thing you got to do is look at your point A. You have to know where you're at to get somewhere. It's like doing MapQuest. You have to put in your starting destination before you get where you want to be. So we're going to take a look at the money that we have to spend. And income, if you get a paycheck, that's really, really easy. Just look at your last pay stub. If you get paid, twice a week or every 2 weeks or bi-monthly, we're looking at just do 1 month. We're going to break it down into just 1 month amount. So take a look at your paycheck, add it up to you get 1 month's worth of income. I also want us looking at all the money that's taken out of our paycheck. So sometimes we don't really look really closely at our pay stub. We just look at the money that we get to spend. But I want you to look at the gross income that you've earned and then the net income that you get to pay. I want to look at how much you're paying in federal and state taxes. I want to look at what you're paying into your 401k or retirement plan. Are you paying for any kind of legal aid? Are you paying for any type of services? Really look at everything that's coming out of your paycheck. One of the little tricks right now, it's tax time, that I like to look at is if you're getting back more than $1,000 in income taxes, I'd like you to talk to your tax advisor, because I use this analogy. If I'm going to the grocery store and I say I'm going to spend $100, and I get to the grocery store and I get out to checkout and I've got some gift cards and I've got some coupons and I only owe $50, and they hand the cashier my $100 bill and they say, okay, we'll give you your $50 back next year. I would not be going back to that grocery store. I have other things I want to spend my money on. So I want to get that $50 back right away. Well, that's all your tax return is you've estimated how much you owe. They take it out of your paycheck and then you go and you file your deductions and your credits and you only owe this amount. And they give you all of your change back. In the meantime, you might be paying interest on credit cards to pay for things. You might be paying interest on your debts. I want to have the money now because I have other things I can use that money for. I don't want the government to hold it for free at 0%, getting no dividends. So if you're getting back more than $1,000, talk to your tax advisor and figure out a way to make that adjustment. I also want us to look at any reimbursements. Every bit of money that I have coming in, I want to help reach my financial goal. So if I'm getting gas reimbursements from work, if I am selling things and getting money, if I have a hobby that I'm earning income, if I get tips, every dollar that goes in, I want to create a plan for. The next thing I want to look at is the value of my assets, because I can use that information to help me make some more educated decisions about my money. So if I have a home, I want to go, just don't pay for it, go to Zillow or something free online, get a general idea of what that home is worth. Right now, it's worth a lot. Same thing with cars. The value of used cars right now is crazy, and it does drop in November. So I would say in January is a really, really good time to go in and do a relook at what the value of that asset is. Just go to Kelley Blue Book and get that retail value. Same thing with any investments. If you've got any 401k, any IRA, any type of investment accounts, stocks that you have, I want us to look at that at least on a quarterly basis. And the reason why we look at this is if I take a look at my 401k, last year I was doing pretty good. I was getting about 13, 14% return on my investments that I was earning. I just look at it last quarter and it's -9. So if I have an extra $100 that I'm not sure what I want to do with it, and I take a look at my investments and I'm losing 9%, or I take a look at my credit card debt and I'm paying 20%. I need to make that money work harder for me. So I'm going to pay off that credit card debt, student loan debt, whatever debt I have based on this information. Now, if my 401k is earning 20% and I'm only paying 3% on my debts, this is where this knowledge can help you decide what to do with this income that you have. So we're going to notate all this information. And then if you have any debts against those assets, I've got a car loan or a mortgage or even a 401k loan. Look at the balance, look at the rate, write it all down. How much longer do I have? We're just gathering all this information so I can see what my starting point is. The next thing I want to look at is my expenses. I want to look at how much am I spending on a monthly basis in all these different categories. So I'm going to look at monthly expenses first. I have both fixed and variable monthly expenses. So I want you to take a slip of paper and start writing things down. Think about the fixed expenses that you have. What are some bills that you pay on a monthly basis that has a due date? The amount doesn't change. You pay it every single month. I want you to write this down. And it might not even be a really big amount. It might just be $4.99, $7.99, $11.99, might not be that much, but if I write it all down and I've got 10 different streaming services that I'm paying $10 for, that's a lot of money going out the door for those. So I want to write this down just to create that awareness of where my money is going. Write all those due dates down. So think about those fixed expenses. What do you spend money on? And if you're not sure, take a look at your last statement, look at any credit card bills that you have automated charges going. I have a gym membership that I have. Those are the kinds of things I want to look at. So any streaming services, any fixed bills, utilities, rent, write those down. The variable ones are also monthly expenses that we have that we do every week, every month without fail. I always have to do this just to survive. So think about what are some expenses that you have that you spend money on every single week, every single month. The amount can go up or down, it can vary, but it is something I still have to do to survive. That's kind of what I want to think about. What are the things that I spend my money on? I can spend more, I can spend less, but I have to do this. And it might be a one that has a due date. So think about your gas and electric bill. This is one where I can keep everything plugged in and use those lights every single day. Every single light is on in the house and I'm paying for all that energy. Or I can get power strips for my TV, my computer, my washer dryer, my microwave oven, and I can turn that power strip off and cut the current, and I can spend less on that bill. So it's a variable expense I have because I can spend more or less. And this is one where people don't even think about it. You have the computer plugged in all the time, TV plugged in, washer and dryer plugged in, microwave oven plugged in, toaster might be plugged in, hair dryer might be plugged in, cell phone chargers. And you don't realize those are energy vampires. If it's plugged in, it's drawing a current, you're paying for it. And if I unplug or get a power strip where I turn the switch off, you can cut the current. My bill went from $150 down to $49 just by getting that power strip for all the things I had plugged in that I could turn off. So while I'm sleeping, while I'm at work, I don't want to pay for energy. 150 down to 50, that gave me more money in my pocket, okay? So we're writing all those expenses down. I want you to look at where we're spending that money on. Okay, the next thing we're gonna take a look at, which for me is a really big part of being financially fit, is making sure that we're also thinking about the occasional expenses. This for me is where people tend to get in trouble. So if I need to be financially fit, I need to think about these occasional expenses, the periodic expenses that just pop up maybe every 6 months, maybe once a year, maybe every 3 years, but they're still expenses that are a part of my life. And I want to break it down into a monthly amount to see how that impacts my overall cash flow. So fixed expenses, think about some expenses you may have that you pay maybe once a year. If you've got a car, there's definitely one bill that you guys have absolutely 100% every single year. You've got your registration, you've got to pay. Mine's $240. If I break that down into a monthly amount to see how that impacts my overall cash flow, it's $20 a month. So I'm going to fill that out. What are some other fixed expenses that you guys have? Think about this. Any memberships that you have, any work things that you have to pay for, any PO box, any food memberships, Costco, Sam, all of these places, write it down, break it down into a monthly amount to see how that impacts you. Then we have the variable expenses. And this is the part that people tend to get into debt. It's where I got into debt because I didn't think about the tires for my car, right? I have a car, I have auto repairs that I'm going to have to pay, the brakes, the batteries, the windshield wipers. I had a motor mount that I had to pay for. Apparently my car wasn't going to work without it, and I had to get that fixed for $140. I know these expenses are going to happen. So I need to break this down into a monthly amount and plan ahead so that I don't get into credit card debt. So here's an example of how to look at some of those occasional expenses and break it down to see how it impacts me. If I've got a car, this is definitely, absolutely, I'm going to do this. Oil changes, tires, the 30, 60,000 mile checkup, my windshield wipers, brakes, batteries, regular maintenance. It's $1,300 a year. It's $105 a month. I get paid biweekly, so it's $52 a paycheck. But I want to look at this monthly amount, $105 a month. If I have a car, this is a necessary expense, and I need to include that in my plan. I want to do the same thing with some other expenses. So I'm actually going to go into this periodic expense calculator. I don't know if you guys can see this, hopefully. Hopefully this is working. This is some things to think about for those periodic expenses. You might not be able to see this, but I can share this with you at the end. If you want to email me, I can share this with you. But if you've got a house or an apartment, look around you at things that you have to replace. What are you listening in on this particular webinar? Do you have a cell phone? Do you have a computer? Is it going to last forever? No, we got to replace it. So I want to keep that in mind. I just had to replace a blender in my house. I have to get a new mattress. These are all things I have to do. We have auto repairs, vacation, clothing, shoes, socks, underwear, gifts, holidays, hair. If you've got pets, we have occasional shots, grooming, medication, vet bills, and then fun. So think about the last 2 years haven't been very fun, but if we go back and look at what we want to get back to, do you want to go see a concert? How much were your tickets? Do you like to go to the theater? How much are the tickets? Do you want to go to the San Diego County Fair? How much do you spend? And we're going to add that into the plan by breaking it down into this monthly amount. So there's an example of how to complete this. Household items is the computer, TV, mattress, blender, glasses that break, medical, dental, I pay $100 a copay to get an MRI, clothing, gifts, holidays. I'm going to share another tool with you guys that I was shocked when I completed this gift grid. This is a really helpful overview of where our money goes, but we don't think about birthdays as only once a year. It's only $30, $40. But then you look at all the people that we buy gifts for, it adds up really quickly. So these are all the different events that we spend money on throughout the year. Across the top, you put your name and then mom's, dad's, aunts, uncles, nephews, nieces, best friends, whomever you spend money on. And then you go down and you put in the grid how much you spend on that person for this event. And then we remember the general expense of the holidays. So going to Christmas, I do buy gifts for everybody, but then I also buy a Christmas tree. I do Christmas dinner. We do Christmas cards. We do a Christmas event. All these things that add up. And for me, they used to show up on my credit cards because I didn't plan ahead for it. And then we have birthdays, graduations, wedding showers. If you have kids, their birthday party, you have the cake and the food and the goodie bags and the jumpy and the pony rides. It just adds up so quickly. When I completed mine, it was $4,800 and I had no idea. Halloween's my costume, the candy to give out. This is a really cool tool to kind of break down that $2,650. I go back to this one. I put that $2,650 in here and it's going to show me a month, $221. If I did my $4,800, it was $400. I had no idea how much I was spending. So it's a really helpful tool to go into that. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next. We're thinking about all those periodic expenses and breaking it down to monthly amount. And I'm looking ahead at how that impacts me. I also want to think about the unexpected expenses. Now, these are things that we knock on wood never happen to you, but they can. And this is where people also tend to get into credit card debt because they're not thinking like, oh, I'm just going to keep working. I'm hale, I'm hardy, I'm great. And then medical bill, you slip while you're hiking and you hurt your shoulder and you have to get surgery and you're out of work for 3 months. Or you go on vacation and you get up and you can't walk the next day and something's wrong with your back and you're out of work for a year. Or you have a blood infection and you're in the hospital for 3 days and it's $100 copay. No, not $100, $300 copay for 3 days, $900 out of pocket. So these are the things I want to look at. You're in an auto accident. I've been in 4. None of them were my fault, but I still had to pay money out of pocket. Earthquakes, fires, unemployment this past 2 years has been a really big, really good example of why we recommend you have at least 3 months worth set aside for replacing your income if anything happens. So make sure we're planning ahead for that too and have that emergency expense set up. Now, if you're not sure how much you spend in any of those categories, which I wasn't, I thought that I was spending about $300 in groceries and maybe $50 on meals out. We don't go out very often. Tracking your spending is so helpful for creating that awareness of where your money goes. When I actually tracked and wrote down every dime that was going out the door, that $30 every Sunday to Soup Plantation, the pizza every week after soccer practice, the Jamba Juice after Girl Scouts, the bringing bagels to work, I was spending $250 a month on meals out and $600 on groceries. I will tell you, 14 years I've been doing this financial fitness at Cal Coast. Most people spend double, literally double what they think they spend in meals out. So I highly recommend that you track your expenses at least for 30 days. We have a couple of really cool resources that I'm going to share with you. This is a tracking sheet that we go in. You just go into that week one and say we want to start with May 1st. I just plug that in and I start keeping receipts, take my receipts and break it down into these categories. And you'll notice it's broken down. The top section is the day-to-day stuff. The bottom stuff is those occasional. If I go to Costco, what can you buy at Costco? Let's see, I can buy chicken, I can buy socks, I can buy treadmill. I can buy everything at Costco, but all that's going to show up on my statement is Costco. I might have gotten $40 cash out and gone to the movies. It's still just going to say Costco. So what we recommend for that first 30 days, get receipts for everything, break it down into the categories. If I get a chicken at Costco, and then I also get windshield wipers, and I get a cute pair of fuzzy socks, we're breaking it down into the categories. Another format that we have for tracking is, this one's a little easier. If I want to just go through my last month's statements and break it down into the categories, it's also broken down monthly and occasional, periodic here. But really keep track of this at least 30 days. We highly recommend it. I think you'll be surprised at where some of your expenses lie. So we're going to track that, keep track of it. So think about this. What is an example of an unexpected expense? So think about this: auto, car, new shoes, cell phone, or all of the above. So you can just kind of think about that. What is an example to kind of want to clarify a little bit for you guys? Unexpected. Is it expected I have to buy tires for my car? Yeah, they're not going to last forever. Expected I'm going to have to replace my shoes? Yes. Expected to have to replace my cell phone? Yes. So unexpected is that car accident. I knock on wood that never happens to you, but it could. So I want to make sure that we're prepared. Okay. The next step that we're going to look at for financial fitness is looking at my debts. And this is really hard. We don't make it easy for you to find it. If you look at your statement that you get for credit cards, it's going to be buried on the second or third page. They are required to share it with you, but if you just log in onto your account on your app, it's not going to show it. You actually have to look at the statement, but I want you to look at the interest rates for every debt that you have. Know the minimum payment, the rate, the balance, the limit, and the term. Write it all down, because again, now I can start making decisions about how to deal with that once I've got all that information based on what my financial goal may be. So we're going to talk a little bit about student loan debts too. If you have any student loan debts, I want us writing down, is it subsidized or unsubsidized, right? So subsidized is the government's paying the interest while I'm in school and I've got a 6-month grace period. Unsubsidized means the interest is accruing right away. So if I take a look at my account and I owe more than I borrowed, that means it's unsubsidized, interest is accruing immediately, there's no grace period, and you end up owing more than what you borrowed by the time you graduate. So I want you to write all this information down, know the rates. You usually get, a loan a quarter, so you're only paying one loan back, but you get 10 different loans on there. Write all this information down, because now we can start making a plan to attack it. So here's some common debt repayment strategies: debt avalanche, debt snowball, debt consolidation, debt settlement. What do you think paying off debts by lowest balance to highest is called? So I want you kind of understanding each of these concepts. So I know we don't have a chat going on here, but just think about this. Paying off debts by lowest balance to highest is a debt repayment strategy called debt snowball. And the way you look at this is you start with a small little snowball, and as you roll it, it gets bigger and bigger. So the lowest balance to the highest is that debt snowball. The debt avalanche is, how you have this big, huge, crazy avalanche, and by the time you get down to the bottom, you got a couple little trickles of snow at the bottom. So that's the same thing with the debt avalanche. You're starting off with the highest interest rate credit card or debt, pay that off, and then pay off the next one. Debt consolidation is I take all of my debts and pay into one loan and have one payment and one interest rate. And then we have the debt settlement, which isn't the best. That's if I owe $10,000 to a credit card debt and I call them and say, hey, I want to, settle this for $5,000 and you're going to take a $5,000 loss, but I'll get this done. That actually really hurts your credit score a lot. So debt settlement for me is never a really good way to go, but I want you understanding the concepts when you go into looking at how to attack that debt. So positive cash flow, I want to pay the credit card with the highest interest rate first, that debt avalanche method, because if I've got a $10,000 balance on a credit card, I'm paying 20%. And I've got a $5,000 balance on one that I'm paying, 5%. If I pay off that one that's paying 20%, next month I'm not losing 20% of that payment. So I want to go after that high interest rate first and get that paid off so my money works harder for me every single month. Now, if I'm struggling, and this is where gathering all that information together can help me make a better decision. If I'm struggling and I owe $5,000 on a credit card, I'm paying 29.99%, a minimum payment is like $100. And then I have a car loan that I owe $2,000 on, and maybe it's only 3.99%, but my minimum payment is $300. Well, if I attack the car loan, then I'm going to be able to get that paid off quicker and open up a lot more money than if I pay off that credit card. So if I'm struggling financially and I've got a negative cash flow, I want to open up that bigger payment, even though the interest rate is lower. The idea is attack one debt at a time. I see people come in all the time and they'll pay, $20 extra to 10 different credit cards. Well, if I take that $200 and I attack one at a time, I'm going to get that debt paid off faster and be able to move on to the next one. So pay the minimum to all your credit cards and choose one to attack based on what you want or how you want, whatever debt repayment strategy you choose. Now we're going to go and actually set up that plan. I've got my income. I've figured out what I need for my periodic expenses. I set that money aside. I realize I need that emergency fund to protect me. I set that money aside. I'm still planning for my retirement because maybe my company matches so I'm going to put money into that. My fixed expenses, my variable expenses, my debt repayment strategy. I've got goal $115 left over. Now I can decide, okay, what I want to do with that $100. I'm reaching all my goals. I want to attack my debt. I've got a positive cash flow. I'm going to go after that 24.99% and get it gone so that I don't have to lose that money anymore. Okay. If I have a negative cash flow, I go after the higher payment with the lower balance. So I'm going to set that plan up. That's how I can succeed at whatever I'm trying to accomplish. Now, for me, this is a really helpful tool for you guys is setting up individual accounts. This helped me give my money a purpose and make sure that I'm setting that money aside for those periodic expenses. I actually have these 7 different accounts. I have an auto repair savings. I get paid biweekly. It's $1,000 a year, is $84 a month, is $42 a paycheck. I have that automatically transferred. That money is for my car. I don't touch it unless I have an oil change. I have to, pay my DMV renewal. I have vacation savings, gift holiday, my home savings, my fund savings, because yes, I want to have fun, my health savings, my annual fees, and then my goal happens to be vacation. So that's one and the same for me. But maybe you have a different goal that you're trying to achieve. Set up an account for that. That way you can see the progress while you're achieving it and set up that goal and be able to mark it off and say, yes, I've achieved it. That's a really great way to get that going. The other thing I want to leave you with is in the terms of financial fitness is understanding compound interest. This is where you're going to hear people say you need to start saving for your retirement as soon as you can. Don't wait until you're 30. Don't wait until you're 40. Don't think, oh, I'm hale, I'm hardy, I don't need to worry about this. I want us looking at putting this money away as soon as I am working. Carrie is working and she's investing $5,000 a year at age 25 for 10 years. So $5,000 a year for 10 years, and then she just lets it sit and grow. Chris decides he wants to wait 10 years. He's not going to worry about it right now. He'll think about it later. So he decides at age 35, he'll start doing that $5,000 a year, and he starts putting that away. And he does it for 30 years. And you're thinking, oh, he's going to have so much more money. But look at this, because Carrie started 10 years earlier. She's got 1.1 million. Chris, who waited 10 years and did 3 times as much for 3 times as long, gets half at age 65 because he waited. He doesn't have that interest that the dividends get deposited every month. And now we're earning dividends on the dividends and it keeps growing. So because he waited, he gets half and for 3 times as much. So this is a really great slide to show you why we say don't wait. Talk to an advisor, start putting money aside. If your company offers a match, take it on your retirement plan. Don't wait. Okay, so these are all the tools that we need to be financially successful, to look ahead, to plan ahead, and make sure that we have what we need. This helps set your future self up for success as well. You'll notice in our chat that we have a really great resource. This is completely free to everybody, calcocu.org/enrich. Lots of great tools, courses, videos, articles, lots of information on every single topic you can think of. And then if you would like me to reach out to you with all of these handouts that we've covered in here, there's my email, trose@calcocu.org. I'm happy to share these tools with you. This will be active on YouTube. We'll be able to go in. We also are always available to answer any questions that you may have regarding financial fitness, regarding credit, regarding anything that you have. So we are here for you. And that is the end.
Well, my goodness, Carolyn, I just learned so much. I wish I would have met you all the years ago when 20 years ago, 40 years ago, even.
Me too.
Right. The information that you gave, I think that is absolutely, you broke it down so marvelously. And I love the tools that you have for creating those plans, if you will, because I'm not using the word budget either. And I think sometimes, I don't know, you tell me, because you have a lot of clientele, and Josh, maybe you too. As soon as people start talking budgets, people just start breaking out, closing down. Like, I don't know what a budget is. I don't know how to make a budget. So they close down. But I like the way that you really flipped the script on that. And I really, I'm interested also. So anybody watching that wants the tools that Carolyn provided, please email her. But also, I'm going to ask you right now if you could email them to me so that I can also serve as a point person. But I'd love for you all, if anything, to connect with Carolyn, because she is here to help. And Josh, I don't know if you can say some words about our financial fitness center here at City College, where they can get really hooked up. Students can get hooked up. So I'm going to bow out so you can talk. Thank you.
So yeah, a ton of great info as always, Carolyn. Thank you so much. And yeah, Lori's referencing what we call our financial wellness center that we have at City College. It's a place where if you'd like to speak with someone, you can just stop by, and we have financial representatives available at certain times of the week. And you can ask questions about pretty much anything that has to do with finances, whether it's something individually or just a general question. We are there to help you out. And again, it's totally free. So if you want to try and find us on campus, I believe right now we are still keeping things fairly virtual, but we'll be on campus again on a more regular basis here eventually. But again, you can always contact us or Carolyn anytime, and we're happy to help you out. So thanks for having us here today, and we look forward to our next session as well.
Me too, which is Thursday, by the way. So Thursday at 1 o'clock. But before I let you go, Josh, just CalCoast, because I just want you to know, students, that CalCoast really invests in our students here. They support so many different scholarships. They support our food pantry. They support our Food for the Holidays program. In fact, they're our main contributor, our only contributor to getting gift cards to students during the holidays. But what I wanted to ask real quick, Josh, do you still have the program where students want to set up an account at CalCoast, and what CalCoast does to invest in their future right away?
We do. So thank you for asking about that, Lori. We try not to put too much of a sales pitch into our programs, but as a quick spiel, we do offer a free checking and savings account for anyone who'd like to join. And we have a special for City College students, or faculty and staff for that matter as well, where if you would like to join right now, we will actually pay you $100. So you just have to have $25 ready to open your account. Once you do that, the money's yours. You can keep it in there, pull it out, whatever you like, and then we'll put $100 in for you as well. So just a little added bonus. It'll help you to pay for those education expenses and any other expenses you might have.
Yeah, and that is so swell. I'm telling you, my son, when he started college, he's out at San Diego State, but there's Cal Coast out there, and he was able to take advantage of that student discount that you guys that you have available for students. So
Right.
I can't thank you enough for your workshop today. It was really informational. David or Mr. Lamas, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask of our facilitators before we conclude today? Okay, well, I want to thank you all for coming again. I want to thank you for those of you watching out. Thanks for tuning in. And the wonderful thing is that this is recorded, so as of 24 hours from now, you can continue to access this over and over again. Tell your friends. It's really, really informational. Josh and Carolyn, thank you so much for coming. We'll see you on Thursday. Thank you for watching out there, and we'll see you on Thursday as well. Take care and have a great day.